Hello, my name is Kyle Rumps, and I'm a current first year MBA student at the University of Denver. I just got back to Denver today from South by Southwest, but I did want to just discuss some of the panels that I got the fortune to attend on my final day, day 4 of South by Southwest. Due to some flight concerns, I did only get to reach 3 panels today, but I did think that they were interesting enough, some more so than others. But for this one, I will be discussing auto-evolving businesses, AI agentic near future. So just to preface, I honestly thought this was a pretty horrible panel. I was in it with another one of my colleagues as well, and we both kind of discussed after the fact that unless you'd been living under a rock for the last 2 years, most of this was pretty well known. Hopefully, this is not news to you, but I will just be kind of recapping some of the things that were mentioned in his panel. So throughout his panel, the focus of it was what is an AI agent and how will businesses be using them in the near future. The major focus of it was not looking at AI agents as a tool to be used by humanity, but rather as a new life form to strive to be symbiotic with. Take that as you will. I think that there's some questions to be raised about symbiosis, particularly because that implies that there's kind of a two-way mutual benefit, and I don't necessarily see, especially based on his discussion, where the AI is getting anything out of the relationship. So, take that as you will. But the panel started off just by focusing on how AI agents truly are the future and how return to office and work from home mandates at both sides of the spectrum have kind of sped up this development within the business world. He said that there was 5 aspects of the new mental model to be approaching AI agents with. This was prompting, participation, delegation, initiation, and then the future, which he referred to as symbiosis. So just going to quickly walk through this. Again, hopefully none of this is new information to you, but if it is, I highly recommend doing a little bit more research into the world of AI, playing around with prompting outside of simply doing Gen AI search. And I think that if you do spend a little bit of time in this is pretty self-explanatory. So making sure that you have a strong prompt and you're not just asking, a one-off basic information question. And kind of the change in viewpoint is instead of just using it as a search tool, using it as an iterative process, one that you can get advice from, already fleshing out ideas, and then using it as like a coach or being able to iterate upon multiple prompts to eventually reach a knowledge state that you're looking for. Next one was participation, which he focused on the need for the AI to be involved in, again, more than just search or knowledge gathering, but in the entire business process, making sure that there's AI involved in workflows so that you can get to the next step, which is delegation. So delegating tasks such as like analysis or more monotonous processes to AI agents. I think that there are some questions to be raised about delegation, particularly in a B2B sense. I think the problems that it's solving right now, it doesn't have the capabilities to answer these really complex problems. So, for example, I don't believe that a upper level management person is going to want to be delegating sensitive emails about $50+ million budgets to an AI agent. And from discussions with people at that level, they don't seem to be comfortable with that either, specifically at the current iteration of AI that we have. So I see these AI agents as more of a B2C kind of automating parts of everyday life for people, but not necessarily, large important tasks that would be really moving the needle for business outside of maybe some auto design stuff with coding. And even then, it's pretty much at the point right now where it's more of a front end developer rather than full stack or dealing with databases in the back end. The next was to initiate, which is once that you have prompted, you've gotten it into your processes, you've delegated work to it, just making sure that it is taking initiative so that you don't have to be prompting it. This was a little bit more interesting. One example he showed was telling ChatGPT to basically give him a list of a list of duties to inspire himself every morning. So ChatGPT would just, whenever he wakes up at 8 p.m., he'd wake up to this prompt from ChatGPT. I actually thought that of everything here, this is probably the only thing that I hadn't really considered. And I do think that there are some applications that could be made with it, particularly just with scheduling and calendar stuff. But using it as more of like a coach that's working with you rather than just a tool for you. And then finally was symbiosis, which I have touched on a little earlier. I don't necessarily see it as a symbiotic relationship. I think that for something to be symbiotic, both parties have to get something out of it. Think of, sharks and the, I can't remember the name, but the fish that attach to them. Like both of those organisms are getting something beneficial out of the relationship. I don't necessarily see what AI is getting out of the relationship unless it gets to the point of, sentience, which then we probably have some issues that arrive just about humanity in general. But overall, I thought it was a lot of review. I thought the initiation factor was a little bit interesting, but I think that he was kind of selling something that most people, at least in that crowd, saw as common knowledge. So that was my first panel, but just wait for my next videos because they do get better as the day continues.